Hey guys, welcome to a new episode, How to Keep More Money podcast. It's your host Bilal, and today's episode is going to be a really cool episode. We're going to be talking about money, and in a way that money is super important, right? We need money to be able to acquire things that we want. Like it could be like a house, it could be a car, it could be travel. It could be for our family, but it could also be, paying down stuff like, your student debt, right? That could be weighing you down. So you need money to be able to pay for that off. And so in this podcast, right, we talk about a lot about money, how to get it, how to keep it, and how to get more of it, how to invest, how to save, how to budget. And in today's episode, it's going to be a really cool episode because I want to teach you guys something that I did in terms of my mindset to think about how not to think about money, thinking too much. Like for example, some people like they want to become a millionaire, but they think $1 million is a lot of money, or they don't know how much is $1 million, right? So it's something that a lot of people want, but they never can actually make it a reality. So in this episode, I want to make it a reality. That could be $1 million, or that could be even just six figures. So I want to make it a reality, how to actually get it in your mind that it's not a lot of money and that you could do it, right? And so I'm going to explain to you the strategy that I used, okay, to get myself, into the mindset that, hey, getting $100,000 is not a lot of money, right? And it's nice when you have your first $100,000, right? It's because you have 1/10. You've become 1/10 of a millionaire, right? So you just need 9 more tenths to actually become a full millionaire. So it's actually pretty cool, right? So going on and talking about how to make this money thing, not a big deal, right? Getting $100,000, it's not a big deal, right? You can't even buy an entire house for $100,000, right? $100,000, it wouldn't last a long time. So don't think of it a lot of money. It will be a lot of money once you get it, right? But you don't have it right now. So something that I used to do, right? Like I wanted to become a millionaire, in a very short time period, right? And a lot of us do, right? And we can't comprehend how much that much money is. And so what I used to do is I used to look at other people, and I would ask myself, like, hey, what are they doing that makes them a millionaire, right? And like when I would look at them, like I would realize that this is a person, right? They're a person. Like they sleep, they eat, they get up, they go for a run, they go for a jog, they do all these things that we do. But what is it that's so distinctive about them that acquires them to, be able to acquire massive amount of wealth? What is it that is that distinction, right? And the first thing I notice is mindset. They think about themselves differently, right? And they've done that, through different avenues. So one of the things that I said is, hey, I want to be a millionaire. What mindset do I need, right? Like when they, for example, when a wealthy person, right, when he goes out to do something, right, he has doubts, just like we do, right? But those doubts don't stop him from accomplishing his goals, right? They might be scared, they might be nervous, they might be shy, they might not be an extrovert, right? But that doesn't, stop them from attaining their goals. So, I was super shy. Obviously I've lost that shyness because, I've done a lot of stuff to break through that shyness. But I was super shy. I didn't really talk to strangers. I wasn't able to stand up in front of a crowd and speak to people. I used to stutter a lot. I used to speak very fast. I wasn't very clear. I didn't really like telling stories, and I would, really enjoy just like not talking a lot because, it would make me kind of nervous. So I had to fight this, right? And what I did is I exposed myself into an environment where I had no choice. I had to adapt, right? And one of the things, the way I did it was like I traveled, right? When you travel, you can't be alone. Like it's impossible to be alone. Like, right, you're always going to ask for directions, you're always going to ask for help, you're always going to need something that you're going to be communicating with other people, right? People are going to come up to you and ask you for stuff, right? So traveling allowed me to do that. But also, going back to the money thing, right? I wanted to acquire money, but I always had that mindset, of like those limiting beliefs that, I can't acquire this much because I'm working and this is my salary, and that, this is how much I can save after my expenses. So how am I going to actually expose myself into acquiring a lot more wealth? And this is it, guys. This is it. This is what I did. And I want you to do the same thing, right? If you want to get to the next level, and that's wherever you are, right? Like, let's say you're just saving $100, right? And you can't imagine saving $1,000. You can't imagine saving even, like $500. You can't imagine that. It's so impossible because of your expenses, because of, your lifestyle. What I want you to do, okay? This is what I did. I wanted to test myself. Am I ready to become, a millionaire? Am I ready to get, $100,000? Am I ready for it? And like, I want it, but I don't know how to get there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself in an environment where I am going to be exposing myself as if I was a millionaire, as if I did have $100,000, right? And what I would do, and I also invite you guys to do the same thing, is I would go and look at $1 million properties. I would book $1 million properties, and I would show up and I would walk through the house. I would talk to the agent. She would explain to me, this is the house. This is why it's worth $1 million. This is the bedroom. This is the master bedroom. This is the washroom, right? At that time, I was not a millionaire, right? I did not have $1 million. I could not get accepted for that mortgage, right? But I still did it. I wanted to expose myself, right? That agent, she would talk to me as if I was a millionaire, right? She would ask me questions about like my family, what kind of lifestyle am I doing, like my job, and all these questions, right? It would bring me to another level, like my thinking now, right? Like, because she was asking me, she believed I was a millionaire because she met with me, right? Like, and then she would ask me, we would negotiate, right? It would be crazy because she'd be like, what's your offer? And I would be like, oh, and then, we would go back and forth, right? So I was already training my mind that I am becoming a millionaire already. Even though I did not have the money, I would still expose myself to that environment. Same thing with owning exotic cars, right? I would show up to dealerships and I would sit inside a Lamborghini. I would ask them to start the car. I would ask them to change different modes, right? From sport mode and Corsa and Strata. I would sit, hold on to the steering wheel. I would look inside, the car, how it feels like. I would smell the leather, right? I would look at the windshield and I would visualize myself, being in the car. How to open up the door, how to get in, how to slide, how to put my foot on the acceleration, pedal, the brakes, where I would put my hand, right? The back view mirror. I would adjust all these things, I would look, outside the car, how I would get in, and would I get in easily? Is it easy to get in, right? I would be training my mind to actually be able to afford these cars, right? And I was making it realistic. I was painting a picture in my mind that this is a reality. People are actually doing this. People are coming into this dealership and they're buying cars every single day. There's people that are living in these $1 million mansions every single day, right? They're just normal people. They're regular people, right? They talk, they walk, they exercise, they eat, they sleep, right? They watch TV, they read books, right? They're just regular people. But they go after their goals. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to push myself, hey, look, this is a possibility for you. And I challenge you, if you think you're ready to become a millionaire, if you think you are ready to acquire 6 figures, then I would challenge you to go and visit these places where wealth is, right? Show up to $1 million listings. It will tell you, are you ready, right? If these people believe you can be a millionaire, then why can't you believe that you're a millionaire? Why, right? these people that are making me sit inside these cars, right? They're telling me, hey, like this is the remote, right? You can use this button to open up the car. This is the button that you use to start the car. They talk about the price. They talk about finance. They talk about all these different things, right? And they believe you are a millionaire. They want you to purchase this, right? Because for them, it's their business. So it's their business to sell you these products because they'll have obviously a profit, right? They want you to afford it, and they want to make a way, find a way for you to acquire this, right? And so, right, guys, the opportunity is around us. You don't have to, fly to another city to do this. You can do this in your local city. You can show up and, go and visit places where there is wealth, right? And expose yourself to it. Are you ready to it? How do you feel, right? The first time, it's gonna be, it's gonna make you nervous, right? Like they're gonna ask you, like, like, what's your offer? And you're like, oh, you're gonna get nervous, right? I remember, like, when I, started visiting all these $1 million mansions, right? I had to, like, sit down after I was done visiting, right? I had to sit down in my car for like 10 minutes and just like breathe and like inhale, like what just happened, right? I was like, wow, she thought that I was able to afford this $1 million property. It was like, I believe like $5 million property or something like that, right? And I'm sitting in my car. It was like a broken, a very old car, right? I parked the car very far away from the house, and I had to walk towards the property. Yeah, so yeah, and it was challenging. It was really challenging, but it was fun. It becomes fun when you actually, like, get that feedback that people actually think that you can afford these very valuable stuff, right? It's really rewarding. And right, it doesn't cost you anything, right, to show up, right? It's gonna cost you time, right? And you can do this on the weekend, just go visit a $1 million property, go visit, a dealership, talk, sit inside a Ferrari, sit inside a Lamborghini, right? Do it, and then it's gonna become more and more easy the more often that you do it. So I challenge you guys, if you think that you're ready to become a millionaire, first expose yourself into that environment. What is it to actually live like a millionaire? What is it to actually have 6 figures? What kind of lifestyle are you going to have, right? And then once you expose yourself in that environment, like, do you think that would make you happy? Do you think you could, if you acquired that lifestyle, would your family be better off? Would they be happier? Would you be happier, right? And it's about, like, doing stuff that makes you afraid, right? Like going up to these places when you don't have the money, right? But you still show up. Like, that you do not have this much income, right? But you want it, right? But you're building that habit. You're building that mindset that you are ready to do this, right? Maybe you can't purchase it right now, but what about in 5 years? What about in 3 years? You might be able to do it, right? So do not be afraid when someone, tries to label you in a category where you can't afford it, right? They don't know that. They don't know you can't afford it, right? Maybe it's not right now, but maybe in a year, maybe in 3 years, right? You will be able to afford it, right? You're able to afford it. You'll be able to afford it the more realistic it becomes, right? If, getting out of debt is not realistic for you, then you're not going to be able to push towards it, with a lot of, like, drive and motivation and conviction, right? The more and more that you expose yourself in these environments, where millionaires are living around, right? Like, it just becomes really natural to feel the same way, and you don't get you get less of a shock now. Now that you see money around you, it won't be as a shock, right? Now, if you see you're in our neighborhood, for example, you drive in a neighborhood where millionaires live there, right? So you see all these mansions, you can see all these very expensive fancy cars parked outside, right? They're just parked outside, right? So, like, when you expose yourself to these things, like these people, right? Like, they're just parking their car, just like you're parking, your Toyota Corolla, your Honda Civic, your Hyundai, you're parking it, outside on the street. They're doing the same thing, right? So expose yourself to your environments and make it more realistic so that your mind believes it, right? When your mind believes it and then you believe it and you realize that it's not that complicated, right? Like, because these people, right, they're also human beings just like me and you, right? We're normal people, but they're doing things differently. They have different thoughts about themselves, right? They they're telling themselves they can acquire it, even though they don't know all the steps. They're willing to go after it, right? And so if you think you are ready to earn six figures, if you think you are ready to get to the next level, expose yourself to the environment and then shock your system so that it becomes a reality. That way there's no more shock, right? And yeah, so it's a challenge. I'm challenging you guys, wherever you are in your life, just take it to the next level, right? It might not have to be an exotic, but it might be a car that you can't afford right now, but maybe in a year or in 2 years, you'd like to afford it, right? Go look at it, sit inside it, get them to start the car, right? Like me not having the money and asking them to, start the car, like, I mean, that's kind of like ambitious, right? And don't feel bad about it, because people, right, like you're building the dream, right? And so it might not be a reality right now, but it might become a reality, right? Because you start focusing on it. So yeah, so if other people can believe that you can become a millionaire or you can acquire six figures, why can't you? If you're ready to do it, I challenge you to accept this challenge and expose yourself to these environments in a very healthy way, right? You're not doing it to mislead people, but you're just doing it for your benefit, so that you can actually make this more realistic, visualize it, get a proper mindset, right? Speak to these people, right? They have a different language that they speak in, right? Like you'll be able to tell that they're very polite, right? They're very accommodating, they're very welcoming, right? You start building that language, you start speaking like them, you become more positive, you start they're helpful, you start becoming helpful, so you start building this mindset. So this is going to be a very short podcast. I just wanted to challenge you guys. This is a weekend, and I hope that you're enjoying your weekend. This is my way of just giving you guys that extra push that, hey, make this realistic. It's not a dream. It is a goal. You can do it. Just try to expose yourself more and more into it so that it actually becomes a reality. All right, guys, so that's the end of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed this. So I'll be doing more videos like this in audio format and video format. I hope you guys are able to consume both. Let me know which one you prefer. There's going to be some people that prefer video, some are going to prefer audio, but hey, I'm doing both. So yeah. I would really appreciate it if you guys can, subscribe on iTunes and, leave me a review, subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave me a review there, like, comment. Let me know what you like about my video format. Let me know what you like about my audio format, and I'll continue doing this every single week. So I'm going to continue providing one new episode on the podcast every single week. So stay tuned to the next episode. And guys, remember, if you are building wealth, first build income, then build lifestyle. Don't get tricked into building your lifestyle first, because most people get into that trap, and then they realize they can't afford it, and that's when they start getting into debt and stuff, and then running after money. So you should not be chasing money. You should not be chasing a lifestyle. You should not be chasing a lifestyle that you can't afford. Build your income first, and then you'll be able to build the lifestyle that you actually want. All right, guys, so that's it for me, and talk to you guys on the next one.